Good morning, Britannia, and hello to the rest of the world. Welcome to Tousi TV and this morning's brief, a news show that brings you guys the latest headlines and the top stories that you might have missed overnight. And of course, throughout the day, we'll continue our breaking news live streams as usual. Today, we're going to talk about a number of topics, but first things first. Imams in the United Kingdom, the Islamic preachers and leaders are blaming the Jews. Why? Because the English working classes have been angry with the establishment for mass migration, multiculturalism, and two-tier system with policing and the justice system. But according to the Islamic side, it's all the Jews' fault, as usual. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about an unfortunate incident that happened in Brighton over the weekend, where a number of people have been injured, and following that, of course, the migrant invasion of Europe and European Union countries continue, as almost 1,000 new people have now entered the borders of Europe from North Africa and the Middle East. And finally, unfortunately, yet another attack has happened in mainland Europe, this time in the Netherlands. And we're going to go and talk about the details of that story as well. Now, let's start by talking about the first topic. There's Islamic leaders in the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland have decided to blame the Jews. I mean, it's not really that much of a surprise, but the UK's Islamic leaders, including Ashraf Dabbous at the Lewisham Islamic Centre in South London, have claimed that the Jews manipulated the white working English people, the white working classes in England. Now, their argument is that over the last 100 years, the white working class English people don't have a mind of their own and they've been manipulated by the Jews. He said, "It is quite well known now, publicly, due to the information that has been released online," we trust the internet, "that they are Zionists and they are supporters of the state of Israel." So basically every single person who happens to be white, working class and English and have been angry because their country is being destroyed in England, doing it because they support Israel. Which, by the way, ironically, goes against the narrative of the mainstream media that continue to call the protesters far right. One of the main elements of being far right ideologically is to hate the Jews. So, oopsie. That didn't go too well for the media. The Charity Commission have said, "We are aware of potential concerns at several charities relating to these claims about the recent public disorder. We are assessing information to determine that there is a role for the Commission." So that's the situation across the United Kingdom. Now, there was an incident over the weekend in Brighton. Emergency services were called to a property on Grand Parade following reports of a chemical incident. The use of a chemical substance. Two individuals have been hospitalized. Two men and one woman who are known to each other have all been arrested in connection to this attack. We don't have any more information yet on the description and the motive and what happened, what sort of fight it was that required any sort of chemical substance. And of course, these sort of things are becoming quite regular in this country. This is not the first time we've seen any sort of chemical substance being used in a fight in the UK over the years. But of course, we'll keep you guys posted. Now, the migrant crisis in Europe continues to escalate. As you guys know, countries like Italy are being overwhelmed. 301 illegal migrants arrived in Lampedusa today and yesterday on 8 boats. Actually, yesterday we had 450 that arrived. Now, the European Union have decided to urge Mediterranean nations to share the burden. On the one hand, they are fining countries like Poland for not accepting a certain type of refugees, and mass migration is being rejected in Poland, but they are still in the European Union, but they have to pay a fine every single day. On the other hand, Giorgia Meloni's government, who's in Italy, they've been trying to be robust on the border situation, and she's generally done an okay job with the with some of the deportations. But while they are still part of the European Union, she's still been a bit of a letdown as a leader, which is not a surprise. Now, speaking of the European Union and of course chaos, we can go to Netherlands. In the last headline that we have, the 34-year-old man has been stabbed on the streets of Amsterdam in Netherlands. Unfortunately, this happened yesterday. The police have arrested another 34-year-old man with no fixed address as a suspect. So clearly, officially speaking, homeless, but we don't know the background or the identity yet. So the police are not releasing that information for now. The Amsterdam police have said a knife was found and confiscated. The detectives and forensic investigation are investigating. The fascinating part about this story and everything that's been happening over the last few days and weeks and months is that the Europeans continue to make fun of the Americans for having the right to have guns. And they say, because you have guns, you got all these attacks and problems that you have across the United States. But it seems like Europeans don't even need to have guns to cause chaos. And actually, it's not mostly Europeans, are they? They are mostly migrants from other continents. So it's not really the gun problem. It's clearly a wider issue that needs to be addressed. Mass migration and multiculturalism. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching, and thanks so much for joining me for another morning brief, which comes to you guys every day at 11 a.m. UK time. And of course, we also have the Tousi at 10 evening debrief show at 10 p.m. UK time every day. And throughout the day, we continue our breaking news live streams as the top news comes in. I'm Tousi, and we are the media.